Hello everybody. Welcome to the third session of my Docker track, Docker 103. To be honest, this session doesn't really, we're going to work on it using our Docker containers and our Docker images that we have been working with in the first two sessions. But you don't have to be using Docker in order to set up a secure tunnel using Cloudflare and being able to access your web apps using your domain name. So welcome. You don't really have to know Docker to be here. And we're going to start step by step from getting your domain name, signing up for a Cloudflare account, all the way to setting up a secure tunnel to your app. Very excited about this session. So please give me a chat in the chat box if you want to. Just let me know you're here. And for those of you who don't already know me, my name is Wei. I am a coach here at Major League Hacking. I use he, him pronouns. And a fun fact about me is I just got a microphone from Mary. So thank you, Mary, for the microphone. Love it. Let me actually take a quick picture here with my microphone to send over to Mary. Right here. Here. All right, perfect. With that, I'm going to switch back to our main screen. And let's get started. If you haven't already, please be sure to check in. I definitely want to know that you're here, and I want you to get the points. So be sure to check in at this link below and get your points. With that, I'm actually going to check in so that I get my points. All you have to do is go to the events link and hit check in. All right, my computer is a little bit slow on me today. That's not good. I hope you can hear me and see me okay. Let me know how my audio is. Thank you so much. Hi, Ralph. Welcome. Looks like I can't connect. Oh, there it is. I'm going to check into my event and I got my point. So thank you so much for being here and let's get started. Just real quick, please ask me any questions you have in the chat and we will get started. I am audible. Perfect. Thank you so much. I was just telling everybody I'm loving this new microphone that Mary gave me as a gift. So thank you, Mary. Happy holidays. Loud and clear. Thank you so much for the confirmation. All right. Just to recap, this is the third session of our Docker track. You don't really have to be using Docker for this session, so don't worry too much if you missed the first two. But just to recap, here are all the sessions that we're going to do, and we have two more sessions coming up on Sunday. With that, what we're going to learn today is we are going to, well, first let's just backtrack and take a look at things that we have already covered. In our first session, we created a cloud server, we installed Docker, and we installed Portainer, which is a web-based Docker management GUI. In the second session, which took place on Tuesday as well, we created 5 different applications and we hosted them on our cloud server. So just to review some of those, this is a Portainer instance showing all the containers that we're running. This is the uptime monitor. If you remember, we created a monitor for Global Hack Week, and now it's showing it's been 100% up since Tuesday, so that's very good to see. We created a VS Code in the cloud. This is happening, or this is all on the web browser, so you can access your VS Code from the cloud. I already forgot my password, typical, right? So we're not going to work with VS Code Cloud Server today, unless I can find my password. And we also deployed a URL shortener and a blog. So yeah, those are all the things that we have deployed on different ports. So if you noticed, Uptime Kuma, it is deployed on port 3002. And we actually, on port 3000, we deployed, I might have to do a hard refresh here. Okay, I do have a redirection going on there, so I'm not going to worry about it. But you can see all the ports here. On port 3000, we deployed our cut, which is a URL shortener. On port 8000-9443, we deployed our portainer instance, and we deployed our blog on port 3001, and we deployed our uptime monitor on port 3002. So they are all on different ports. And this is not very convenient, and this is not very secure, right? Because everybody in the world can access this URL only through your domain, or not through your domain name, but through your IP address. This is very inconvenient, right? And it's on a different port, so it's kind of ugly, to be honest. So what we're going to do today is we're going to get our domain name. We're going to talk about DNS just a little bit to understand how the computers convert a domain name to an IP address, resolve domain name to IP address, and then how the computers are able to connect, your browser is able to connect to the websites, right? And then we're going to sign up for Cloudflare together live on stream here because I don't have an account. And we're going to point our domain name to Cloudflare. And lastly, we're going to install our Cloudflare tunnel, which is an amazing solution to accomplish what our session title says, securely access your apps using your custom domain. And that's it. With that, the first step is get your domain. If you haven't already gotten a domain before from GoDaddy registry, go to our challenges page at ghw.mlh.io/challenges. Let me just go to it real quick. And I will also be sending that link in chat. Once you are on this page, scroll down to the GoDaddy registry domain featured challenge. And here you will have a link that points you to a page where you can pick your domain name and use your promo code to sign up. So let me know in chat if you already have a domain name or if you are about to complete this challenge. Let me know. While folks are getting their domain name, okay, so we have a question in chat. When do we learn to deploy our full stack Next.js app using containers? That is actually our next session. If you check our track, the next one is Dockerize your website and publish to a Docker container registry. So we will learn how to build and deploy your website or your full stack Next.js app to Docker container registry, Docker Hub, as well as your cloud server. So hope that helps. Thank you for your question. Keep them coming. All right, Ralph already got 3 domain names since October. That's amazing. Then you are all set. All you have to do is to pick one. You have the choice between the 3, and we're going to connect that up with Cloudflare. Is deploying containers free? So if you're hosting your container, you need a cloud server, and there are a few solutions providers out there that I listed here. DigitalOcean and Microsoft Azure both have free credits through GitHub Education, and I believe Oracle Cloud has a forever free tier as well. Google Cloud also has some trial credits that you can use, so definitely check those out. For the purpose of this session, we are actually using DigitalOcean. Thank you for your question. All right, so let's talk about DNS real quick. What is DNS? DNS stands for Domain Name System, okay? This is like a phone book of the internet. I'm going to share this link with you from Cloudflare. They have a very good documentation page explaining what that is. So basically, anytime you go to a domain name like waitonstream.co, that is my domain, your computer is talking to a host of name servers. They call domain name servers. They're essentially phone books of the internet to get to know, like, oh, where is the IP address? What is the IP address that we should go to access waitonstream.co? And if we kind of scroll down to a graphic here, first of all, client means your browser. browser, first go to a DNS recursive resolver. This could be your on your computer. This could be your router that's handling the name resolution. And if it's not found there, if it hasn't asked for that, hasn't been cached before, if nobody has accessed the website before, it's going to first go to the DNS root server. There are 13 root servers around the world. They are hard-coded into your system to know, like, oh, that's where I need to start my search. And then it's going to go to the DNS TLD name server. TLD means top-level domain. For my domain, wayonstream.co, .co is the TLD. So the root servers are going to tell us that, oh, please go search in the TLD, which is .co name server. And then the TLD name server will have a directory of all the domain names under that TLD and the name servers associated with it. So wayonstream.co is going to give us once we set it up, it's going to give us the Cloudflare's name servers. And then that's kind of how the recursive resolving works with domain name service. So if you have any questions on that, please let me know. And this article has a lot more details to how that works. So I'm kind of just brushing up on that just very quickly there. Here are all the steps explained in detail on how that works, basically what I mentioned. And with that, your computer or your browser knows where to send requests. Instead of using the IP address, ugly IP address here, your browser can now display the wayonstream.co domain or subdomains underneath, and then we can access the IP address behind the scenes to return the websites. So that is the gist of the DNS system. Let me know if you have any questions. I know I went through it quite fast, but please feel free to check out the link as well. But I'm happy to take any clarification questions. All right, so here I just want to show off my domain name here, wayonstream.co. This is where I registered it through GoDaddy registry, which is porkbun.com, and I'm all good here. Let's go to our next step, which is signing up for Cloudflare. I know we do have a challenge for signing up for Cloudflare as well. So if you haven't done it, you can complete this challenge with me live and get some points. Sign up for Cloudflare right here. And in order to sign up for Cloudflare, I'm just going to hit the sign up button on cloudflare.com, and I'm just going to use the free plan. Okay, I am just going to use the free plan, add a website, and I'm going to use my email, wayonstream@gmail.com, and a password. Perfect. All right, that was easy. That was easy, wouldn't you say? Now let me add my website, which is wayonstream.co. Continue. And I'm going to go with the free option, which is on the bottom here. That has more than what I need for my personal projects. Well, if you have already done this, you don't have to, wait. You can just follow or just watch me struggle if I have any trouble and help me out. Or you can read through some of those documentation links I sent. But very shortly, we're going to get rolling here. All right, so the next step is to review my existing DNS records. So previously on Porkbun, I have added some DNS records, and we can go to Porkbun and click DNS to see them. I don't necessarily need all of them. I might, but I'm thinking I likely don't need some of them. So why don't I remove, let's see if there's anything I need. Okay, well, I'll just keep them since it doesn't really matter. If you have any here, that's fine as well. We'll just hit continue. And this is the most important step. And this is a step that can take a little bit of time because of caching and propagations. So first of all, we're going to go to pork bun, which is where our domain is, and we're going to change the name servers. So currently we are using pork bun itself as our DNS provider. But with Cloudflare, we need to change the name servers to Cloudflare. And the way to do that is go to your domain name next to the DNS, hover over it, and next to the DNS, you'll see a NS link. And when you click on the NS link, you'll see the pork bun name servers that are currently present there, and which matches what Cloudflare is reporting here. So what we need to do is remove the following name servers and add Cloudflare's name servers. So let's just do that. Let me just copy the first one of Cloudflare's name server, remove, and then let's do the second one here. Dana and Kip, looks good. I'm going to hit submit. All right, what this is going to do is this is going to update the phone book on the, if we remember from our link, let's just go back to it. It's going to update our phone book at the DNS TLD name server. So the DNS TLD name server is the .co's name server, and anytime anybody queries for waitonstream.co, they will tell you, oh, what is the name server for this domain name? And previously it's pork bun, now it's going to say Cloudflare. That process does take a little bit of time, so I'm happy to answer any questions if you have in chat. And in the meantime, I have a nifty website I use to check if my change has propagated across the internet, and that's called dnschecker.org, I think. All right. This is a very, very powerful website. I'm going to put in my domain name, waitonstream.co, and pick NS as the record I'm checking. And with that, .co, not .com. So let me just wait real quick since I had the typo. This is the website I'm using. I'm going to send it in chat. This is called DNS propagation. Changes that you have made will take a little bit of time to propagate across the world. So this is a very useful tool to see if your changes have been updated. And as you can see here, it hasn't really updated anywhere in the world yet. Everything is still pointing to the old pork bun name servers. So we will just wait a little bit on that. I'm hoping it will complete soon, because sometimes it can take up to like 48 hours, but most of the time it just takes an hour or two. I'm hoping it will be done very quickly here. Okay. Once this is done, your DNS provider becomes Cloudflare, and Cloudflare has, a host of products that you can use on top of that domain, making it super, super powerful. I actually host all my domain names, and I use Cloudflare for all my DNS needs as well. And just a real quick tip for you, if you are looking to buy domain names for yourself, that is not, one of the free ones that GoDaddy registry provides, I highly recommend checking out Cloudflare registry first. This is basically the domain registration feature on Cloudflare. And that is because Cloudflare does not charge any markup on their domain registrations. That's not their business. So they pass on all the savings to you. Highly recommend it. Looks like I need to verify my account email address. So let me just do that while I wait for the DNS to propagate. And I am verified. Okay, and as you can see here, this is the domain registration page, and you can register all kinds of domain suffixes here. For the low price of the however much it costs for them to get the domain name. Okay. Now let's check the DNS checker once more just to see if everything is propagated. And I can see that it has not propagated. Is this a question for me or for Simar? All right, if you can provide more information on that, I'd love to help you out. So at this time, can you specify like which service you're talking about? Are you talking about domain registration? Or are you talking about DNS checker? Or are you, oh. Yeah, just let me know what you're talking about. For domain registration, they don't charge a markup. They still charge however much the domain registries charge them for. Like .com belongs to VeriSign, and however much they charge is what Cloudflare will charge. They don't make money from it. That's all. That's what I mean. So you still have to pay the price. Oh, doc deployment. Okay, I don't know what that is. I don't think we covered it yet. So let's. Oh, Docker deployment. Oh, I see. Okay, I see what you're talking about. So you're talking about these providers, right? DigitalOcean and Microsoft Azure provides free credits for students. So if you go to GitHub Education, this link specifically, you can sign up as a student, and they provide cloud services like DigitalOcean. Where's DigitalOcean? Let me scroll down. Sorry if I'm scrolling too fast here, but they provide credits to Azure, and they also provide $200 credits for DigitalOcean. And as I also mentioned on the page here, Google Clouds have student credits as well. So does Oracle Cloud. Oracle Cloud also has a pretty generous free tier, so definitely check them out. Okay, so at this point, we're still waiting on our name server to propagate. .com typically takes like 30 minutes to an hour, and it looks like .co takes way longer. So in the meantime, there are things we can do. Let's just go to the next step, and then we can revisit this, check back, and see if it's propagated. Now let's go to number 5, which is Introduction to Cloudflare Tunnel. Think about the use case that I mentioned on Discord, right? You have a fantastic application. Maybe it's a Next.js application running on your computer or on a cloud server. But it's running on a port, maybe port 3000, like we have here. We're running it on port 3002, and we have an IP. If you're on your home computer, you don't even have a public IP. It's like a hassle to set it up, and then maybe you have to link it up with a domain name, and then you have to buy a certificate in order to serve it under the secured HTTPS connection. So there's a ton of work you have to do in order to set it up traditionally, right? Cloudflare Tunnel is an amazing solution that makes it so easy that you don't have to do all that work. You still have to do a little bit of work, but way less. And let's just review what is Cloudflare Tunnel, okay? Cloudflare Tunnel is a secure way for your computer or your cloud server to connect to the Cloudflare's network. And then customers will connect directly to Cloudflare's network. Cloudflare's network will handle things like routing, traffic routing, certificates, and securely routing the traffic to your server, cloud server, or your local computer. Essentially, customers are no longer accessing your cloud server directly. They're going through Cloudflare, and Cloudflare is doing all that for you. Makes it so easy because you don't have to manage the certificates, you don't have to manage your DNS records consistently, right? And there's another benefit to this, that is your server doesn't even need to support direct access from the outside of the world. This is super amazing for security purposes, right? Because you know, nobody can attack you directly. If they need to attack anybody, they need to attack Cloudflare, bring the whole Cloudflare network down before they can get to your server. So essentially, you also avoid the problem of DDoS attacks, because you're avoiding it by making it Cloudflare's problem, right? That's what they're here for. And it is super easy to set up a tunnel. And let's just go to our link. Let me actually share the link to this documentation real quick. Cloudflare tunnel. And then we have our create a Cloudflare tunnel page as well. And this is basically a link under the getting started of the link I just shared. So before you start, make sure you add a website to your Cloudflare and change your domain name servers to Cloudflare. We already did the first one and we're waiting on the second one. No rush there. And let's just go through this steps here. This step 1 here, and log into Zero Trust and go to Networks Tunnels. So let's take a look. I need to create a team name. This can be anything. I'm just gonna say wait on stream. And all I need is the free plan. So Cloudflare Tunnel is a product underneath Cloudflare Zero Trust. And as you can see here, they do require a payment method. They're not gonna charge you anything for it because this is free, but they do need a card on file. Luckily, I do have a card I can use. So let me just do that real quick. Okay. All right, perfect. So I have to log into my bank real quick to generate a one-time card. This is very, very useful if you're signing up for something that you don't want charged into your card at a later date. Okay, and I'm gonna let you can use this card too if you want. I don't guarantee it will work, but let's see. I'll do this here, and this is going to be for Cloudflare. Okay, boom. So let me add my payment method here. It does require a billing address, so I might have to go off screen here to get that in. But I think I may be able to use MOH's address, MOH office address. Okay, I found it. I don't know if this address is still being used, but I'm just gonna use it for now. I'm Wei, last name on stream, zip code 10159, New York, United States, 10159. Account type, maybe I'll do personal for now. Next. Okay, $0 sounds good. All right, I am in. Okay, now that I am in Cloudflare Zero Trust, let's go to Networks Tunnels. think they said for some people it's under access tunnels. So let's look there as well. Access tunnels. Okay. So what we'll do now is add a tunnel, and I'm going to name this tunnel Ways on Streams DigitalOcean Cloud Server. Save. And it gave me a ton of environments I can choose from. Just to remind you, you can do this on your local server or your local computer as well to make this work. I'm just doing it on the DigitalOcean's cloud server as an example. And I think I'm using Ubuntu, so Debian 64-bit, I believe, is the right one I need. And I'm just going to copy this code here to run on my cloud server. All right, with that, let me go to my Cloudflare, my DigitalOcean account, go to my cloud server access, and accessing the SSH for it. And I'm just going to paste the commands from Cloudflare Zero Trust to create the tunnel. Okay, and what it's going to do is install a daemon Cloudflare D service on my cloud server that's going to be running in the back. And with that, you can see here I have a connector that is connected. That means my cloud server has installed Cloudflare D and the tunnel is connected. All right, next, this is the magic. This is where the magic happens. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is this is where you pick your domain name for the services that you want to expose to the cloud. So for example, I have Uptime Kuma that is listening on port 3002, and I can create a subdomain called uptime.wayonstream.co, and I'm going to direct or map it to localhost 3002. This is because on the cloud server itself, my Uptime Kuma is listening on port 3002, and it's listening on the HTTP port over HTTP protocol. So this is the correct URL for it, and I'm actually pointing my uptime.wayonstream.co domain name to it. And I think that's all. I just hit save, and as you can see here, I have a WayOnStream's DO cloud server tunnel up, and inside there I have a route called uptime.wayonstream.co. Okay. That's perfect. And if we just go back to our Cloudflare homepage, you can see that under the DNS tab, I now have an uptime entry, which is that symbolizes subdomain uptime.wayonstream.co, that is now pointing to a Cloudflare tunnel right here. This is automatically generated by Cloudflare Zero Trust. All right, that's all. So what we just did should have worked. And let's go back to our DNS checker just to make sure our name server has been updated. So let me go ahead and hit search. And as you can see here, in some parts of the world, it has been updated, like San Francisco, Berkeley, and a couple other places. But in other regions of the world, it has not been updated. Looks like it's also updated in India, or sorry, in Bangladesh, not yet in India. It is updated in South Korea. Here's a very handy feature. You can put an expected value here, and we can say it expects Cloudflare in the result. And with that, it will actually show the X, right, red X on the ones that haven't been propagated, making it a lot easier to see. Now I'm curious if like my local computer has the updated name server yet, but I'm leaning towards waiting a little bit to check, just because I'm a little bit worried it's not going to work. It might work. We'll wait maybe for a couple more minutes there. But we just completed steps 1 through 6, right? We got our domain name. We learned about DNS a little bit. We signed up for Cloudflare and added our domain name and changed our domain name server to Cloudflare on the pork buns management page. We learned a little bit about Cloudflare tunnel and what it does, the use cases, and we created a cloud tunnel. So in the meantime, why don't we create another mapping? So we can use the same tunnel, configure it, and add another route. So we mentioned Uptime Kuma is listening on port 3002, but we also have, let's see, 3001 maybe. We also have our blog, Ghost blog, running on 3001, right? So let me just create another host name here. I can do blog.wayonstream.co, and that is going to listen to localhost 3001 on the cloud server itself, which is my blog. Save. So now I have 2 host names set up using Cloudflare tunnels, 3001 and 3002. With that, why don't I just give it a shot and see if it works. Let me go to blog.wayonstream.co, and voila, it works. And as you can see here, I do have the little lock icon here as well. Connection is secure. This is one of the headaches that I always encounter when I have to set up a website, which is getting the certificates to work and websites to serve over HTTPS. But Cloudflare handles that for you automatically, and as you can see here, it is all set. Now let's go to our other domain name, which is uptime.wayonstream.co. And from there, you can see it is also a secured website, uptime.wayonstream.co. Let me see if I can remember my password here. Yes, I do. And now I am accessing my website, Uptime website, through HTTPS securely. Now you can do this with any web-based applications or even non-web-based applications. So this is super useful, especially if you're trying to demo your work to somebody, maybe on your local computer. You don't know a secure, easy way to share it with them. This will be a perfect way for them to just type in a URL under a subdomain of your choice and access your local server securely. And that's it. Let me know if you have any questions in chat. If you want to learn more about Cloudflare Zero Trust, they have a ton of other resources inside their developers documentation page. It has a lot more use cases than what I'm showing here. Like they also have access control for organizations, device security, and things like that. But for the purpose of hackers, hackathons, and our individual developers, Cloudflare Tunnel is the feature that I love the most. It makes it so easy. And as you can see here, you can connect to HTTP web servers, SSH, remote desktops, and all the other protocols that Cloudflare supports. Essentially, you shield yourself from outside attacks. All right. Do let me know if you have any questions. But here are the key takeaways. In the first 2 sessions, you learned about the basics of Docker, and you learned about how easy it is to deploy any application to your cloud server. We also explored tons of self-hosted options on the awesome self-host GitHub repo, and we deployed 5 different types of applications. And today you learned about how to set up Cloudflare tunnels on your cloud server to securely access your app from anywhere. On Sunday, I have 2 sessions. On day 6, we have Docker 104, which is we're going to learn about how to Dockerize your website or your application and publish that to a container registry. So if it's, it doesn't matter if it's Python, if it's Go, if it's Next.js, or any other language of your choice, it doesn't matter because Docker doesn't care about that. You can always find a Docker base image in the language of your choice, and then set it up, install your dependencies, and run your server, and package all that into a single Docker image that anybody can run from anywhere without too much trouble. Super, super easy. And my last session is Docker 105. That is learning about CI/CD. We're going to learn, how you can use GitHub to manage your changes. If you make an update on your website, it is going to automatically build a new Docker image for you and publish it to a Docker registry. So this is going to be pretty interesting as well. And lastly, it's going to also update your cloud server if it's hosting your website. So this is always a very, very easy way for you to manage your website and applications in the future without manual intervention. All you have to do is to push your code. And here are some resources that I shared previously, as well as a couple new ones I added. I also shared them in chat throughout the session, so do let me know if you have any questions on them or if you need any additional information. With that, thank you so much everybody for joining on a Friday night or a Sunday very, very early morning. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and weekend, and I hope to see you on Sunday. Bye.